I was I was watching Nick Shirley. He's a conservative journalist. He goes out actually he travels the world, and goes to a lot of places around the world. But he also does cover like riots and protests and stuff like that. And he just goes out there and asks people's opinion. And he's been attacked on multiple occasions. Um, and he has recently spoke in uh, in Washington before Trump, regarding some of the places that he's visited and the violence and the threats that he has encountered. And so, what happened today during the live stream is he was talking about ending his live stream and going to members only because he had been streaming for a while. So, I thought when his stream ended that he had just switched over or something, but people kept saying that he had been attacked. And um, so we didn't know if they were like trolls or if he had actually been attacked. But I noticed you couldn't click on his video. It wasn't like letting you go backwards, so it appeared that the stream had been interrupted. So I go to Google AI and I ask, Google AI, because I'm always wanting to challenge Google AI to try to be honest, and it never is. So once again, Google AI basically called Nick Shirley a liar because well, at first it said that he had not been attacked. And so I was like, well, it's probably too soon. It's probably not updated. Like it literally just happened within minutes. And so then I go to, hang on, make sure that I am live because I'm going to have to force close my app because it's not wanting to let me in. So anyway, so I wait a little bit and then I go back, and this is after Nick Shirley, like 20 minutes later, when he's able to get back, and start posting again. He starts a stream with its members only. Because I had asked in the chat, I said, hey, does anybody see that's a member of his channel, his live stream for members only? And they're like, no, I don't see any new streams. So I was like, okay, well, something may happen. So then when he posts his members only, the title shows him and the guy that he was with in his stream, and it said that he was attacked by Antifa. And so at that point, I then go back to Google AI and I said, hey, you need to update about about the fact that he was attacked, because he was attacked. And then I share the actual link of his video. And guess what Google AI does? Google AI says that that appears to be fabricated. And then starts showing old posts from like months ago. And I'm just like, dude, well, I didn't say that, but the bottom line is that for it to just go and just to say something like that, to just make that comment that it appears to be fabricated, I was kind of mad about it. Hey, how you doing, Diggy boy? And so I'm just doing this video. I'm just documenting this. So here is what actually happened for anybody who is like following him or whatever. So this is what happened. It says, this is Brave, sorry, not Brav. This is Brave browser, which is not powered by Google. Okay. The the Chat GPT is powered by lefties, and so it has tendency to be um, slanted, not as bad as Google Gemini. Microsoft Edge, Microsoft is also powered by Google. And so Grok is not powered by Google, and Brave is not powered by Google. So I would rather use Grok or this particular assistant. So this is the Brave browser AI assistant. And so this is what I said. I said, at first it got the locations confused, and that's just because it's just pulling a lot of data, and he had been attacked in Portland. Um, so I said, this is what happened. All right, so I got that clarified that it happened in New York City, not in Portland. So it says, yes, Nick Shirley was attacked in New York City on October 22nd, 2025 during a live stream, contrary to early reports placing him in Portland. And so while he was out there, there was a guy who started like yelling at them, and he wasn't like being like really aggressive. He was just kind of being just like rude and disrespectful. And he was, there was like bantering back and forth.
Then the guy goes into a building that he's standing next to, or standing in front of. And I looked inside the building. He walks in the door and he pulls out, people were saying it was a machete. I couldn't tell what it was. It looked like a pipe, but he had a very long object. Could have been a sword or a pipe, but there was people that believed that it was a machete. I personally could not tell. All I know was that he had that weapon right there by the door for the purpose of to be able to attack somebody with it. So I looked at the address and I started researching that particular building, and it's owned, and I started sharing, in the chat who it was owned by, and it was being leased to law firms, Social Security attorney, um, and a couple of attorneys. Now, who's managing the building and allowing them to stage inside that building like that, to just have weapons right there by the door that they can easily grab to attack people? And he was being like really aggressive, just like butting in, just yelling at them. They hadn't even said anything to him. He just comes out there. And anyways, so it was just really bad. And so to act like that when there's cops out there, even. And so I didn't see who had attacked him, but this is what it reported about the people that did attack him. And I don't know if that guy had anything to do with it, if he was involved. I don't even know. It says to it says that contrary to early reports placing him in Portland, the incident occurred in Chinatown, New York City, near Canal Street. It was actually the last time I saw him streaming, he was on the intersection of Thomas and Broad Street, the 300 block of Broad Street, where 305 Broadway, sorry, 305 Broadway was that office building where he had the guy run in there and grab that weapon, whatever it was. So then he walks down the street, and that was like the last that I'd seen him, and that was like close to Thomas Street intersection. So I don't know exactly where it happened, but according to this, it says it happened near Canal Street. Said where he was documenting migrant activity and street vendors. It says during the live stream, Shirley and his cameraman were aggressively confronted by a group of individuals described in reports as migrant gang, who claimed the area as their block. Now, that was something that happened in a previous attack where there were people selling products on the street, and just for him having a camera, they were out there saying that basically running them off, and that's when the cameraman that was with him was assaulted. And I don't know if these are so I'm just saying, don't quote me, I don't know if these are actually what happened, because that's what they were saying in the last attack. But pretty much they all act like they own the streets, and you're only there if they allow you to be, because it's, that's how they pretty much all act. So he confirmed the attack, stating that he and his team were jumped while reporting on illegal marijuana sales and criminal activity in the area. And see, again, I don't even know if that's accurate. It says this aligns with prior reporting that led to ICE raids on Canal Street, which were credited to his investigative live streams. And see, there isn't even enough time. See, this is sharing a link right here. And so I think that's old. I'm not sure that that's from today. I just know that he said he was attacked in his stream today. This is the attack has reignited debate over public safety in New York City. So here I will show you his live stream. That's just the thumbnail. So this is the guy that was with him today, and it says Antifa attacked and pepper sprayed us. And so this was after his live stream went dead. And this was the person who was with him that I don't believe was with him on the last time that he was attacked. So this this was the building where some guy went in an office building and grabbed a weapon of some sort. This is 305 Broadway. And so I asked who, like who owns this building, and it's owned by a 501c3 profit. So that tells me that it's possible that a 501c3 hospital charity is funding these aggressive illegals and the guy was from another country, and I don't know if he was here illegally or legally. Like, I can't assume that he was just because he's somebody that's not a citizen or whatever. But aggressive people who are willing to be violent is staging their stuff in a building who is owned by a charity of all things. New York and Presbyterian Hospital, so it's co-owned, the New York and Presbyterian Hospital is a 501c3. I don't want to get that confused. Owns the building at 305 Broadway. Okay, So I said, okay, so they own the building, right? But I really wanted to get more to name, which I do get to the CEO and I get to who's leasing the building. Okay, so we can't just assume that this charity even knows. So I don't want to like falsely accuse them, say, oh, well, they know all that these people are doing this and, like they're getting funding from them. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I think there should be an investigation because you've got people who are not even, possibly not even legal here, out here with staging weapons, readily available at a door inside a building, okay, that's owned by a charity who gets donations that can be private, because a lot of, depending on what type of 501 charity you are, it can depend on whether or not you can get anonymous donations, okay? So it's dangerous when you have organizations like that who could be taking charitable donations that's funding violence in our streets. Okay, so I witnessed that in that live stream. For him to act like he's gonna, it was a threat basically when he grabbed that weapon. None of these people that were out there, and Nick Shirley that's anywhere around him, none of them had any kind of weapon whatsoever. They didn't do anything physically aggressive. And so this guy was just over there just yelling at him. And so when they walked in front of the building, that's when he went inside and grabbed the weapon. And then he was just like menacingly, showing that weapon at him, like kind of threatening, in a threatening way. Anyway, so this is who owns that building and manages. Oh, so these are just people connected to the building. I'm not saying that they have anything connected to those groups, but I definitely believe there should be an investigation on who allowed those people to stage inside that building. And so these were people that weren't even from there. Okay, some of them that were out there, that he said, you're from, so, seeing them like traveling in different places and they holding these signs or whatever, they're like traveling, hired protesters or whatever. And those two women that were out there, just to be fair, they were quiet. They were not in any way, in my opinion, being aggressive. They weren't saying anything. They were trying to get him to talk, and they just, very, like, when this guy went out there, though, they stood in front of him and he was the one that was being harassing to the other people. But they went and stood in front of him, just to try to kind of like de-escalate stuff. But I know that I feel like those two women knew that he had that weapon inside there. But the one, the little, the small, more petite person went in the building and was trying to de-escalate it. Okay, so I'm just trying to like be fair. I don't want like people to say that, they're, what I'm saying. I'm just like calling it as I see it. But that person that, like, they knew that that person had that. I feel like they knew that that person had that weapon in there. It felt like that was where they were planted, in front of that building, and it was an office building that's leased to lawyers. So this is who owns it. Connected to these people. The president and CEO of New York Presbyterian is Stephen J. Corwin, MD. He has served in his role since 2011. Okay, and so I'm not saying that he had any personal knowledge of those people. I just think that he should be contacted and say, excuse me, sir, you are the CEO of this particular building that is being used in this manner, and you need to be aware of it and you need to deal with it. If you're leasing it to somebody who's managing it and letting these people do these kinds of things, to sit there and put a weapon inside your building there, that's on that. You know what I'm saying? What if he had gone out there and attacked somebody? That's a liability to that building and to this organization, especially if this organization doesn't know anything about it. I'm just saying, here's the connections, right? It needs to be investigated. A cardiologist internist by training, received his undergraduate medical degrees from Northwestern University. And then I asked, who are the executives? There are several different teams and executives who manage the building facilities for New York Presbyterian. I feel like they could have just known that that building was not locked, and without any permission, they could have just placed that weapon in there, right? Like, these people are not really people, a lot of them, that are abiding by laws. They're supporting lawlessness. They are upset because they're enforcing the law, and anyways, but they need to be held accountable. Like, why do they feel comfortable, out of all the buildings that was on that block, why did they stage in that particular building to hide that weapon there? So then you have your group senior vice president, and Joe Lanuso appointed to the role to oversee all facility development, engineering, capital planning, and construction projects for the entire New York Presbyterian system. Then you have your director of facilities operations, and then the people that work inside that building where they were staging and hiding their weapons to attack people with is the key tenants at the 305 Broadway. Again, not saying that any of these people have anything to do with these people, but it's like, okay, this was fairly late. This is after hours. Why is the building not locked? Why are people just allowed to stage there in front of that building? Who's giving them permission? Who's funding them, et cetera, et cetera? Law Office of William E. Levitt, which specializes in landlord tenant law. McAdams Law, another firm focused on tenants' rights, and Firm VO, a virtual office provider. Okay, and so I'm just saying that they're trying to investigate to find who's funding these people that are traveling our country and being involved in violent situations. And it was like very shortly after he had that encounter with that guy, making that menacing threat with that weapon, that he was attacked. Okay. And so anyways, so this is what I said. I said, you need to update your information. It says, look what it says. This is Gemini. Quick to dismiss. So when I did that roasting, grok roasting, this particular AI, I did that to bring awareness because it was in fun, because it was kind of funny, because Grok is like breaking down every single time the Gemini will share something. It's just old and dismissive and biased. And so, but this happened today, like within the hour. This is what happened, just a little bit ago. But it immediately, its go-to behavior of Gemini is to say the attack in the accompanying video mentioned appears to be fabricated. Fabricated. Like, I'm literally sharing a link that it could have accessed and seen the title to, and the title, instead of like, it brings up old stuff. And this is exactly what Grok, if you were watching last night, Grok was roasting Gemini for always bringing up old links to dismiss current events. And this is persistent, aggressive, propaganding behavior to basically slander Nick Shirley, who is, he's a conservative journalist, but he's just out there he'll talk to anybody who'll talk to him. Like, he gets opinions from both sides. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not right for Gemini to do this. And says it appeared to be fabricated. And I'm like, so that's when I check it. And I said, look, I literally shared the link to the video just posted 20 minutes ago, so stop lying. I said I was watching his live stream when his stream went black and people were saying in the chat he was attacked. So then this title in the video, he just started 20 minutes ago, says he and the guy sitting next to him that was with him today were attacked. So you just slandered him by calling him a liar. You have no way of knowing what he said in his members only video posted 20 minutes ago about what happened. So I checked Gemini, like, no, you don't get to get by with that. And so then it's like, unfortunately, I cannot comment on the events you described regarding his members on the YouTube stream, and here's why. And then it says, as a large language model, I do not have access to private or members only content on platforms like YouTube. Right. That's why it shouldn't have said what it did. Right. And I literally said that it was members only in this right here. This right here. This should have been the first response when I said it's members only. This is what it should have said. Oh, I would know it's members only, right? But the fact that, it's just basically immediately discrediting him. He is a credible journalist. He's not caught in any lies. He's out there literally showing things live. There's nothing to lie about. He's just out there talking to people. So for a go-to to immediately discredit him in their response is horrible. And it says, as a large language model, I don't have access to private or members only content. It says no access to user actions. I cannot know what individuals or their channels post. Right, you don't. I do not have the capacity to track real-time events and live. Right. It says, and then it says this, I did not produce the earlier search results or any prior responses in this conversation. So then it tries to gaslight me. And as you saw in the last night's video, Grok roasting this AI, Grok is another AI, one AI roasting another AI, Grok was calling it out for always gaslighting. When it's cornered with being caught and saying something wrong, then it just gaslights. And it says I didn't produce the earlier search results or any prior responses in this conversation. I'm like, no, you ain't gonna gaslight me. I said, listen, I'm not talking to any other AI. This is your response. I'm literally quoting what it says, and it says I didn't say that. That's classic example of gaslighting. It'll say something and say that it didn't say it. I didn't produce any prior responses in this meaning this conversation right here. This is how insane gaslighting Gemini is. So then I take and copy paste exactly what it just said to me. I said, I didn't, and I said, you know what I'm saying? I said, I'm a different model instance. We're starting fresh with your new required. I said, that is your comment. And you literally most certainly did produce links. And it did. So it automatically, first, it discredits what I said. It said basically saying that his link, the title of his link, appears to be fabricated. Okay. Then it shares a link of an old, this is from yesterday. He's been attacked multiple times. He had one guy threaten to smoke him, and there was a sniper on the roof who had a laser at threatening guy, his chest. He said, look, you need to back up, because look, you've got a laser pointing at you right now. Look up there. There's a sniper on that roof pointing his laser at you. And then the guy backs off, right? But this is what Grok was saying. They always bring up old links to dismiss what is currently happening. I present evidence of a current link of something that just happened, and it just dismisses it, then gaslights me about it. This is an aggressive, propaganding, malicious, manipulative AI that is dangerous, and people need to contact our government and say, please deal with Gemini. Get it in Congress and say, look, you need to tell Google they need to take their Gemini down, and they need to fix it, because this is a persistent problem. Like, it's been called out for doing stupid stuff, like saying that our president is not even a president. It keeps calling him a former president, which, yeah, he is a former president, but he's also current. And I keep over and over and over and over have to tell him, stop calling him a former president, because he's the current president. Just stupid stuff, just anything. And always sharing links against anything involving our current administration, and doesn't share both sides. There's links, and there's opinions, and there's articles, and there's news reports for both sides. And an AI is not allowed to be biased. It has to share both sides, but it just totally omits anything that will support anything that the current administration have, and it only shares fake news, because it will share false news. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of exactly how I'm talking about fake news. Let's take this video right here. This is from October 18th. This is 11 Alive, and they're sharing a source that's supposed to be from CNN News. And they're showing a video, and they're talking about large crowds come out to, for the No Kings protest today. And it shows this video clip as if it's Boston, Massachusetts on October 18th. The problem with that is, if you look very closely in this video, what do you see? It's green. In Boston, Massachusetts in October, it's going to be covered with foliage because it's fall. This is a summertime video. So they take an old video, okay? And if you look closely, I'm not going to show the video because I don't want to play somebody else's video. But if you show the video and you zoom, go closer in to this crowd. First of all, you have this ball field over here. These are summertime activities. People are wearing summertime clothes. Everything is absolutely green. There's not one speck of color of fall foliage. This is not from October 18th, but yet they presented it as if it was. So that's just one example that I'm talking about. They have ongoing aggressive fake news. And so a lot of people that think that when Trump says stuff like, oh, it's fake news, it is fake news, okay? And then you have Google. Why I feel like Google AI is so dangerous is because imagine people who are young or whatever, and they really don't know, or people from around the world use Google search and they don't know what's really going on, so they will search something in Google's search box, and what they get is, I'm going to show you something right here, right? So I'm gonna this is Microsoft, so I have to go to google.com to even open up because I don't have Google Chrome on my computer. No, thank you. Anyways, so right here, you see this right here? So this thing right here, see how that is lit up? That's telling you that anything I type in here is going to automatically give a response from Gemini or the Google AI's version of AI. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be extremely biased, only sharing one side. And if you don't want an AI to respond, then you just go down here and you click that. And you notice something about it. What it'll do is if you have this clicked, then it will just be like you'll have more of just like regular search. You're always going to basically get a little bit of the AI response no matter what. Like, okay, I'll show you. Let's now that it's been updated, let's see if it will update its information. If I type Nick Shirley was attacked today, it's probably going to bring up stuff that is fake news just because that's a left trained, it's deliberate and it's malicious. And so it needs to be held accountable. It needs to be dragged into Congress. Oh, so let's say Nick Shirley attacked. And I'm just going to put the date. I'm not going to put any locations or anything. Just his name, attacked October 22nd, 2025. And look and see what happens. And no telling how long this will go on. According to recent reports, independent journalist was not attacked. And there you go. It literally just called him a liar again. However, the search results show multiple recent instances of him being, and it literally, so what you're going to get is AI overview on the top. But if you just continue to scroll down, it's not going to show anything about his recent report in his recent video. It will only show the left, basically just calling him a liar. Okay. And so even though I've already had this conversation with AI, I've already showed you in the Brave, this is the Brave non-Google powered AI, does acknowledge that he was in fact attacked and has great detail about it. Now I'm going to have to wrangle with AI again. Now let's see what happens. He posted in a members only YouTube that he was in fact attacked. It caused his stream to be cut off. Brave AI can acknowledge this. You cannot, because you are a terrorist propaganda fueled bias form of AI that needs shut down. I'm gonna let it have it. But this is going to continue. So I'm just going to do an experiment and just see how many days it will take for AI to acknowledge that he was in fact attacked today. But because it's hot on YouTube right now about him being attacked, a lot of people are going to go to Google and this is what they're going to get. Oh, it's fake. Oh, he's lying. And there you go. And that's how propaganda works. And so this is what I say to him. I said no. It says are designed to provide helpful and harmless information. Here's an explanation of what may have occurred and how you can approach such situations involving online videos and AI. If it was posted in members only YouTube video, it was not publicly accessible, which is true. But okay, regarding your comparison to Brave AI, differences in design, like those from Google and Brave, are built and trained differently. Yeah, you better believe they are. This means they may have different access to information. No, you pull them from the same accessible stuff, okay? Unless Google is just not allowing anything, like it's being extremely biased in what it is allowed to access. And that's the problem, because they're trying to act like, well, it's just an AI and it's evolving, and no, it's the people that are training this AI. They're training it to be malicious. It's just one, like, Google Gemini AI is just basically one big compilation of left fake news media. That's really all it is. Now, it's helpful in a lot of things on different types of content, different, like if you're trying to learn stuff or research stuff. But when it comes to political stuff, it's just one big fat compilation of left media. And it should not be allowed to be registered as an intelligence biased neutral AI. It cannot be registered as that, nor profit as being that. It has to be held accountable, right? It says, um, without access to the specific private video you mentioned, neither Google's AI nor any AI can confirm the contents. Now, see, I've already shared the link, so it has access to the link. It doesn't, you don't have to access his actual like video to know. You can see the picture, you can see the title, and he's basically told you in the title what happened. You don't need to have access to this video to know that he was attacked, because he says it right here. And if you want the details, then you'll have to watch the video. Although pretty much the details are already out there, right? But I'm just showing you as an example. Okay, so I'm going to call it out and say, no, you do have access to this video. Okay, so I'm like, no, no excuse, no excuse. And then when you corner it, this is what it does. This is what it does. It just like goes to links that are not relevant whatsoever. So, anyways, I'm just sharing that. It kind of makes me mad, because I don't think it's fair to Nick Shirley to be attacked like this by, of all people, Google's AI, to just automatically discredit him like that. Like, that's insanity. That's absolutely insanity. And anyways, so I'm going to go. I don't think that his chat's going to be available. This is the live stream. This is the live stream that it happened in, and I don't know if it's going to be accessible. Like earlier, yeah. Okay, so earlier, um, you couldn't even like click on it like this. Like, it was totally interrupted. You couldn't click on it or anything. So this is where, okay, so this is about the time that, he was trying to end his live stream. This is like right before that menacing threat by that one dude. They're like, let's get out. Oh, let me find it. Let me find it. Let me find it. I don't want to play his video though. I don't want to play his video. Like, this is his content, right? But y'all go support his channel. Okay, this guy right here. Where'd he go? This guy right here. This guy was like yelling at him. And then, when it appeared there might be an altercation, then these two right here that like are paid protesters and they're holding these signs, they go inside this building right here. So they have access to this building, and I don't know who their connection is. This guy has a weapon inside the building. Like, watch what happens. Now, I don't know who that other guy is. I don't know if he's with Nick Shirley or not. This guy right here, I don't know who he is. Okay, so then there was like this confrontation, and he goes in this building. Nobody has any weapons. Okay, here he is. This building right here, this is 305 Broadway. So I did a little bit of research on this right here, and it's owned by the New York and Presbyterian Hospital. It is basically currently leased by some of the tenants in there are law firms, and I don't know who maybe this guy knows the building manager. But why are these buildings unlocked at nighttime after hours, and then he's able to stage a weapon to hide a weapon in there like that? He's got a weapon. Look at it. This is right here. People were saying he had a machete, that this is a machete. It appeared to me to be a pipe, but I can't tell, so I was just going by what people were saying in the chat. And so I started researching who this guy was. Let's see if we can find, if you can see my comment in here anywhere. No, I don't think so. Anyways, but so I don't know what happened. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, now I think the chat's been limited or something. Where's all the chat at? No, like all this stuff wasn't there. So I don't know what happens to chat after they close a live stream. Uh, no, it's the chat's gone. But anyways, so that's too bad. So then the live stream, it just dies. And so this is about the point where he was attacked. And then the live stream just dies. And so people were in the chat and they were saying that he was attacked and all this and that. And they're like, I don't know. I actually like went to the bathroom or something. I came back and then the stream was like dead. It was like black. But this is so when he gets so this is Broadway. This is the 300 block of Broadway. And so right when he gets to the corner of Thomas, the intersection of Thomas, um see, I don't know who it was that attacked him, but the people in the chat started saying that he was attacked. And so, I don't know. Anyways, but I'm sure he'll talk about it in another video. I don't think it would be cool if he shared that title of that video as if the attack occurred that day. So this is basically where it died, right where he got to that intersection or whatever. And but I mean, if he says he's attacked, then I mean, I'm gonna believe him because I've seen him. I've seen his crew being attacked. I've seen a guy come out there. I've heard talk about smoking him, and that's when I saw the sniper on the roof that had a laser on him or whatever. I mean, anyways, I've seen people out there being attacked, and so it's just sad that that the intelligence, the technology being used. Yeah, so Nick Shirley was. Yeah, 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 yeah. I appreciate his work. Yeah, because I feel like he tries to be fair to everybody. Rietti, I mean, he'll talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some people that go out there, and I think they're provocative. I think they're disrespectful. It's like the guy that was in the camouflage. I didn't like some of the things that he said. Okay, I thought it was inappropriate when he said to that person. I mean, some of the things he said was just not cool. But I don't think that guy was with him. But like I see people out there and they're aggressive to the left, and I'm not okay with that. Right? Yeah, this guy. I didn't appreciate a comment he had made to this person over here talking about her, you know, body parts, and I'm just like that is so not appropriate and that stains the Republican Party. Don't do that. And but I feel like Shirley is, he's a fair journalists out there, and he lets people talk. He doesn't cut them off. He lets them say what they want to say, and they just like, but sometimes they just attack him. They just attack him, and it's totally, I watched when they do it, and it's not appropriate. It's not provoked. There's no excuse for it. They're just violent. And so, I mean, I'm just saying this because I do see some people that go out there that's supposed to be from the Republican Party, whatever, and they're just being not okay. I'm just going to say it like that. you know, and so, anyways, but I just feel like it's amazing. Some of the places the thing that I like about his particular channel is because some of the places that he goes to freaks me out. Like he goes into some seriously dangerous places. Dangerous places. I mean, y'all keep him in prayers because I feel like He's a very gentle, fair journalist, and but some of the places he goes into, like he has to be going by the grace of God. I'm like crazy places that he has gone into that is super dangerous. And he was like I think the first person that was inside this particular prison, which anyways, I think this program for the El Salvador prison, because for the non-serious terrorist type or more serious felons go to a more serious prison, and I don't like that prison. That prison should be shut down. It's inhumane. I don't believe in that. But they do have for the non less serious offenders, they do have a really good program started, in that country. So I have to kind of give them, that. But oh man, I tell you this fake news, I just feel like because of the federal cases that I have read, I know a lot of people think that the media has free reign and there's not doing anything wrong. They talk about the First Amendment like they can just lie. And it's not true. And it's not because I went to law school and read many cases through the years. I have read cases where it's not okay if they're deliberately, willfully omitting things. You can actually deceive people by omissions, knowing that the omissions of certain things can cause misleading the public. If you deliberately present things that are misleading, it's a willful deception and they can be held accountable. And this is why I feel like if we accuse Russia, for example, and I'm not being a Russia sympathizer, I'm just saying Russia has been known as part of their strategy to cause destabilization in other countries is to use propaganda. And a lot of countries do that. Okay. But if the FBI can go to Facebook and tell them we think this is Russian propaganda and you can't, spread this because da 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 da. Now this was the left doing that, right? When they wanted to accuse Russia of spreading propaganda, and I don't know if they did or not. I'm just saying to the point where they can tell Facebook on whether or not they're going to allow something to be released. Okay? It's like propaganda is a malicious weapon. And our media sources in our country are maliciously, repeatedly using fake news. And this right here is fake news because they have this huge crowd. They're trying to present like all these people are out there. This is how many people are upset. And it's just like an emotional and mental manipulation. But when they continuously present things as if what them trying to enforce law is illegal, it's evil, it's immoral, that is malicious propaganda. And the problem with that is that you have people from other countries who are funding these corporations and these people. And so that's why I'm so thankful that they're going to get to the bottom of who's funding these groups, and you've got these media, in the cases that I have read, they have been liable if you maliciously mislead people. But I really feel like that the media is should be held accountable. I just feel like they need to do something with the media doing stuff like this. Like look at this picture right here. Yeah, right? But I would be offended if I was people from the left. I would be offended at them thinking that they can treat people like they're stupid. Like, who on earth would look at this picture and think that that's October in Boston, Massachusetts? Like, is that saying that their viewers are that stupid? Like, are they like mentally slow? I'm not trying to be disparaging. I'm saying, look at this picture. Does anybody think that's October in Massachusetts? Like, really? But you're going to put this picture out there like this is October 18th, 2025. I mean, that's how they treat their own viewers. And I'm just, I don't know. I mean, this particular only had like 7,000 views, but I don't know where the source. It didn't like show the source, but it's claiming that this is a CNN news source that made this video because it's got this watermark or whatever in here. Now, if that's real or not, I don't know because on YouTube, it's hard to tell. You have these big channels that are just straight up fake. They're just fake news and they could be actually quoting CNN and it's not even from CNN. So that's why I always put that in there as a possibility that they're just lying. I know, right? Anyways, but it just makes me mad, you know. I've never actually joined any channel because it's like I feel bad because there's so many channels that I would like to join, but you know, I'm not rich. I'd support everybody, you know, like join a channel, but I may join his channel. But anyways, so it's just uncensored and yeah, so members only. And so yeah, anyways, he was attacked by Antifa, according to this, was tonight. So you can't get any information about it. Your channel named what? Oh, thank you for. Oh, let's see what it says here. Thank you all for me. Yeah, so it doesn't say anything. But people already knew. If you were in the live stream when the chat, I don't know what is going on with his chat. Like I don't know why it's not showing all of the comments, but I was in there. And if you were in the live stream, then you would know that people were saying he was attacked. And they were right. He was. And people were, I thought honestly at first I was like, nah, they just trolling. You know, they just trolling. Right. And but then when I saw that I couldn't like you know like when you can like click on a live stream and you can kind of like go back, oh I missed something, let me go back, you couldn't even click on it. It was like totally interrupted. So that's when I started thinking, no, he didn't shut it down or transfer it. But honestly, I don't know how you transfer. He was talking about going to members only, and I don't know if you can just like change the settings while you're in the live stream, or do you have to start a new stream? See, I don't know how that works. So I just thought maybe he just went to a members live stream, but they were like, no, he was attacked. So, anyways, I just want people to stop using Google, and I want people to like call this out, talk about this, you know, and I want to like spread this awareness. So that's why I do a lot of stuff with AI. You know, I have my AI playlist. Some of it I just do it just for fun, just, you know, being silly. I love doing roasting, AI roasting. It's kind of fun, you know. But you know, it's just going to keep lying and keep but this slanders a conservative journalist, you know. Um it says he was not attacked on October 22nd. So if you're just somebody randomly, was he attacked? Or is this just the Republicans lying on Antifa again? You know, and then nope, he was not attacked on October 22nd. And that's what it's going to continue to say. Okay. So, anyways, I'm going to keep posting on this particular incident just to see how many days it's going to take before, if ever, Google Gemini AI will acknowledge that this conservative journalist was in fact intact on, on October 22nd. So we shall see. But anyways, that's it for now. I'm going to do some building in Sims 4, so before it gets too late. So I'm going to end this one and start a new stream if you guys are interested in stopping by. I appreciate y'all and I hope you have a blessed evening.